want me to say how long we've been together because you don't know? Okay, that's all right. My name is Wesley Lorenzini, and I've been with Amber Gray now for 4 years and about 3 months. We got engaged about 3 months ago, and we're going to be married about a year from now.
We met online. We met on OkCupid, which is a dating website, and he sent me a message online and asked me out. Actually, we first were talking a little bit through Instant Messenger, and then he took me out on a date near my dorm where I was living at the time in college. And after that, just kind of like we kind of meshed. He got to know me really well, and I got to know him, and we just kept going out. He was living in New Jersey at the time, so he had to commute from New York City to New Jersey, which, he did it for me because he must have really liked me a lot. And after that, it's kind of history. It just worked out. I don't want to tell more about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was the abridged version. That's the Spark Notes version. I saw her online and just wrote up this message about who I am. I was going to School of Visual Arts for film directing, working as a computer technician at collegehumor.com. Just really kind of went into basically the bio of who I am pretty quick. And surprisingly, she responded. And like she said, we talked online for a lot. About a couple days went by and we went out to a date, had dinner. Which she was so incredibly nervous. It was adorable. She was so nervous.
I was afraid I was going to drop food on myself because I always tend to be messy and drop things when I'm eating, and I was just really freaking out that I was going to do that. So luckily I was really careful, but I was very, very nervous, freaking out. I had only been on a couple dates before that. I had met someone else on OkCupid before that, but it didn't really work out, and then he was the second or third person.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was that's probably the only time of the 4 years and 3 months that we've been together that she hasn't dropped something of food on her. So that was impressive. Because after that, it was all downhill, and just getting to know her was an absolute pleasure, and wanting to talk to her every day. And I remember just being so excited to go online and talk to her. And she was actually the first person I met on OkCupid. All the other women, thank God, never responded to me. I don't know why, but they never did, and that's a good thing because she was my first OkCupid experience. 2 months later, when I asked her out at 12 o'clock at night, instead of saying yes, super happy, she says, I guess. She said it first. And she was drunk.
I was drinking.
So that was interesting. We were at her dorm, and it was just how I asked her out.
Yes, tell me the story, because I don't remember.
Spent the rest of my life with you, and you don't even remember the first time you said I love you. It's alright. She was drinking, and I guess I came and met up with her at her dorm afterwards. She was out with friends, and I guess I met up. And she just kind of blurted it out, and it was kind of one of those moments where you're like, oh, okay. And then I had to quickly evaluate, do I want to say it back? Does it make sense to say it back, seeing she's intoxicated? I do care about her. So this quick thing went from I love you, or whatever, however she did it, to me being wow, okay, either she's saying it because she's drunk or she really means it. And then I had to evaluate, and I basically said it back to her, I love you too. After 6 months we were living together, and I really learned a lot about her and the way that she was just taking care of me every night when I had a stressful day. Even if she had a stressful day, she would just take care of me first and always put me first. And it's you don't have many people in the world who can do that, where they just really put other people before themselves, especially in New York. I see that. So I just knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her as soon as possible, and now we're engaged. Before I proposed, we knew that I was buying the ring. She didn't know when I was going to propose. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is after we knew that I was getting a ring, we actually went and decided that we're also going to stick with this 12, 13, 14 date. And that meant that we were well, it's probably going to be a pretty popular date, so we should probably reserve everything. So we actually we're getting married in Jamaica at the first resort that we ever traveled to, an all-inclusive. And we reserved it before I even proposed. I got a wedding photographer, a wedding videographer before I even proposed. She went wedding dress shopping. Tried on 4 dresses.
Yep.
And bought the dress before I proposed. Totally, like, everyone was just like, what are you doing? This is not how it works.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Nobody took me seriously when I did dress shopping. They're like, where's your ring? And I'm like, I'm gonna get it. And they're probably like,
You crazy. So, I had this plan that I was like, let me see if this will work out. Let me go and do a photography shoot with my friend, Stan, and see if it works out. So, me and Amber went to Prospect Park, and we just took photos with him, and she's like, why are we doing this? And I'm like, why not? He's got to build his portfolio. Let's just, he really didn't have to. It was more of a favor to me for him to do this. That was kind of just part of the scheme. And she loved it. We had a great time, and I just knew, okay, this is going to be comfortable and a good way for me to segue into proposing to her. So we went the entire day, took a lot of pictures. It was a lot of fun. And then I said, actually, when we were at the end, she was saying like, oh, we should do this, in winter or something when it's like colder and like when there's a different setting. And in my mind, I'm like, you just set up exactly what I was gonna set up. So thank you. So I was like, yeah, we could do it in like a month or so and like go to Central Park. And she's like, yeah, that's a great idea. So we go and we're doing video and photography all over Central Park, and I'm just freaking out trying to figure out where is this spot that I'm going to propose to her. Because it's like, you grow up as a man, it's like you try to, like if you have that mentality that like you're going to get married, have kids, get a house, and like all this stuff, you always think about like where are all these things going to happen in life. And it's like, I never knew I was going to meet the love of my life on a website and talk to her, on chat and stuff like that. Like, I didn't know that was going to happen. And now I'm in this park looking for the spot that I'm going to get down on my knee for the only time in my life and, propose. And we found this rock right with like this water behind it. It was just absolutely gorgeous. And I basically signaled to these guys that that's it. So we did single interviews about how we met and everything like that, and just talking about it. And it was a very quick interview. And while hers was going on, I snuck into my bag where I had this the ring in a little apple box. Then we both meet up and we do a video together, and it was a really funny. If you see it, you see the hesitation and the oh my god, I'm about to do this. And she's just looking at me like, are you going to start? Like, or am I going to start? Like, what's going on here? Basically, got down on my knee and asked her to marry me, and, she said yes. And one of the best parts, I think, of it, and a lot of people really like this part because it's just so us, is exactly the same point that I made before about when I asked her to be my girlfriend. She said, I guess. When I put a ring on her finger, she said, thank you. And I said, don't mention it.
Okay, I think the biggest thing that I learned from being with Wes, something that I used to do, and we were actually talking about this earlier, something that I used to do a lot was bottle things inside and not really say how I felt. And I'm noticing a lot of my friends have the same issue, people who are dating and have the same problem that we had in the beginning, where I was just keeping everything inside. If we were in a fight, I wouldn't really say what I felt. Or if I was mad about something, I would not even say what I was mad about. I'd just be like, I'm fine, like the girl thing to do. So I think the biggest thing that I learned from Wes, and life lesson that has helped me in other situations in life, is to always communicate with your partner about how you're feeling, because there's so much that could be hurt. The relationship could be hurt so much if you don't. That's the biggest thing I think I've learned, is communication is so key about everything. Any little thing, any little feeling you're having, say something about it.
So the biggest thing for me is, like she said, communication. I'm glad that we're on the same page with that, just because it's imperative that from day one you really just realize that, just figure out, is this someone who you want to spend another day with, or you want to get to know more about them. Do you want a future with them? And just talk to them about everything. Like, if you have a feeling like this person maybe isn't right for you, just talk to them about it. I know it's going to be the toughest thing, and that's the thing, is it is the toughest thing to talk about every single thing with your significant other or someone who you're interested in, because it's like constantly just, all this communication is just like, sometimes it was just so tiring for us that we would just, fight and discuss for hours, and it's just so much, but we learn so much about each other, and it's like, I know a lot of things that bother her, and she knows a lot of things that bother me, and it's, that's a big thing to understand, because when you know what bothers someone, you can either prevent it, or you can do it to annoy them. I mean, just be honest with everybody, and you're gonna get your heart broken a million times, but that one time that it's there and you find the person, it's an unbelievable feeling.